Welcome back to the Explanation Pro. Today I'll recap a biography, drama, history film called Olga. Spoilers incoming. In 1942 at Ravensbrück concentration camp in Germany, a revolutionary woman named Olga is writing a letter to her daughter. She then looks out the window as a German prison bus unloads other female prisoners to the camp. She then brings out a picture of her daughter, and while looking at it, she remembers something that makes her smile. Olga then flashes back to 1926 at Mobit prison courtroom in Berlin. She walks up a spiral staircase with a bag of apples, looking nervous. She enters the courtroom and sits in the front row. She holds her bag close as if she's hiding something inside it. Moments later, they bring in Otto Braun, who is a member of the German Communist Party. The judge then lists down charges like inciting public disorder and masterminding rallies against the government, branding him as a traitor by revealing state secrets to the Soviet Union. Olga, who is listening, takes a gun out of the bag and holds the guard at gunpoint, taking control of the room. Others in the crowd also bring guns as they reveal themselves to be her allies. Having control of the room, she orders her subordinates to free Otto as she threatens the judge at gunpoint. Waiting for Otto to be uncuffed, Olga fails to notice the judge pressing a panic button that sounds an alarm. As soon as it goes off, she knocks out the judge. After that, they immediately escape the room. On a rainy night, Olga and Otto ride a train heading for the Soviet Union to escape from the authorities. Once alone, Otto expresses his feelings to Olga, who rejects his advancements, being dedicated to her ideals. She then explains to him that in the Soviet Union they can be free. Olga then remembers a time in her past when she led a demonstration in the streets. Opposite them were the Nazi Party members dispatched to stop them. As soon as they meet, they all get into a brawl. Later that day, Olga returns home battered and bruised. She tries to run and hide in her room, but her parents run after her. Seeing her horrible state, they reprimand her and eventually get into an argument, where her mother walks away. When Olga's mother leaves, her father tends to her wounds. He tries to appeal to her to stay home rather than follow some rebels to Berlin. She feels offended by his words and confronts him about whose side he is on. To which he emotionally responds that he is with her. In Moscow, Olga stands in front of a crowd sharing their merit in liberating Otto. She then expresses her belief in their cause. She suggests that they undergo military training as the fascists grow in number. She then ends her speech by honoring the revolution, which is met by roars of support. After her speech, Olga is approached by Elise Ewart, a revolutionary wife who, along with her husband, has spread the word of the revolution in different countries of the world. She expresses her support for Olga and believes she has great potential. A few days later, Olga goes to her superior's office. She is tasked with escorting and protecting Prest, who is returning to Brazil. She is instructed to pretend as his wife to protect their identity. That night, they board a ship heading for France. Dressed in fine clothing, the two act as a couple while slow dancing in the hall, presenting themselves as real lovers. Sometime later, they head to the deck of the ship. Prest expresses his feeling of nostalgia for his mother. He compliments Olga for her determination and tries to flirt with her, but to no avail. Olga is very invested in their cause to the point that she doesn't feel any strong emotions, like love. Their conversation is cut short as fireworks explode in the sky as the ship celebrates the new year. A man then approaches them, offering them champagne courtesy of the captain. They accept it and kiss, not to blow their cover or raise suspicion. A kiss that makes Olga feel a bit of emotion. Back in their room, the situation becomes a little awkward. The two don't say a word to each other. Olga gets to bed first, reading a book, but seems conscious of how she looks, even fixing her hair. Prest then joins her in bed, reading a portion of the poem she is reading. She continues reading it as he fills in the words in between. He then tells her that the poem suits her. A compliment that makes her smile slightly, but she brushes it off. A few moments later, Prest brings up the kiss to Olga. She brushes it off as a necessary move to fulfill their mission and says he doesn't need to want it. But he surprises her as he admits that he did want that kiss before going to sleep. Surprised, Olga goes to sleep with a smile. The next day, the couple joins the captain and Herr Fischer, a fascist German politician, for breakfast. The captain jokes about spies and communist conspiracies, which makes the couple uncomfortable. They try to keep it in, not to give themselves away. Fischer makes the situation more hostile as he asks Olga if she's Jewish. Olga sarcastically asks him what he thinks, to which he responds no. He then openly insults Jews and communists in front of them, insisting that they ruined Germany, much to Olga and Prest's annoyance. Later that night, Prest comes into their room soaking wet from the rain. Olga wakes up, grabbing a towel for him to use. He looks at her emotionally as he tells her how he feels. He admits that he has never felt that way for any woman, only her. He then apologizes for it, and Olga contemplates while staring at him. She runs her hand on his cheek and admits her feelings for him. After their confession, they spend an intimate night together. A few days later, while the couple is on the plane to their destination, Prest wonders if their allies are as fortunate as them on their trips. Olga assures him they are fine because they are trained. At Getulio Vargas headquarters, the chief of police assures the president that he will stop the rallies. They discuss the National Liberation Alliance as a group of rebels in the country that they deem closet communists. The chief argues that Prest is behind this, but the president tells him to set aside his grudge to focus on the issue at hand. Meanwhile, the couple arrives at the Ewerts' home. As soon as they enter the house, Elise and Olga hug, having been close friends. Arthur then introduces Prest to the team. Miranda, the Secretary General of the Communist Party, Leon, the Financial Director, Gruber, the Revolutionary Trainer, Baron, the American Technician, and the last member, Gioldi, a friend and ally of Prest's. Once they are gathered, Prest tells them about an organized rally against the government in collaboration with the National Liberation Alliance. He assures them that it is all under his control. One night, Olga visits Prest at the study, telling him that she intends to leave soon because she feels like she is losing her purpose. Prest pleads for her to stay, but she coldly rejects him and assures him it's for the best before leaving for bed. Sometime later, Olga's team receives a devastating letter. She tells them that the revolt had failed and that the military was still under President Vargas' control. With this revelation, Prest breaks down, feeling like all his hard work has gone to waste. A few days later, the police break into Ewert's home and arrest the people inside. They try to resist but are dragged away and taken to a van, which will transport them to prison. Olga, who was a street away, sees this and sneaks away. At the hideout, Prest and Olga try to dispose of any evidence. Olga offers to stay behind and make sure that nothing will be left. Prest disagrees and tells her that she will go with him and that bomb in the safe will do it for them. Later that day, the police arrive at the hideout. Esteban, a detective, goes to the safe and takes a piece of paper. He is warned to be careful as he opens the safe with the code. The bomb doesn't go off, and they find all the documents intact, collecting it all as evidence. In Meyer, the couple hides from the authorities when they receive a letter informing them that the bomb never exploded. The couple is surprised and even more worried because they know that the police now have all the documents. They speculate that Gruber betrayed them and gave away the information. A few nights later, the couple is still in hiding. Prest comes to Olga while she's looking out the window. He surprises her with a dress he made for her, and they dance and spend an intimate night together. One rainy night, Manuel, the house's caretaker, rushes to the couple, telling them that the police are coming. Olga insists that Prest escape first while she will hold them off. He leaves the house from the back but returns, not wanting to leave his wife. Not too long, the police break in and search the house. They find Prest, who is running from them, and as he is about to get shot, Olga runs out and stops them. They are then both arrested. At the police station, the couple gets separated. Prest is taken to maximum security prison, while Olga is brought to an all-female prison, where Carmen, Gioldi's wife, and Elise are also. At the prison, Olga becomes ill, which Maria believes is because she's pregnant. Upon discovering it, she wastes no time and sends Prest a letter sharing the good news. Later that day, she is brought in for questioning. The press takes an interest in her case, and she takes this as an opportunity to tell the world that she is pregnant with Prest's baby. She also tells them that she requests that the baby be born in Brazil. A few months later, Esteban visits Olga's cell to tell them he will bring Olga to a hospital to give birth. They don't trust him at first, but they agree when she is told she can bring one person with her. That night, she is put into the back of an ambulance, expecting to go to a hospital. Maria comforts her, and they believe that this is their chance to be safe. A few moments later, the vehicle stops, and the doors swing open, showing they are at the pier. Esteban was ordered to deport her back to Germany aboard a Spanish ship along with another prisoner. They then board the ship, where they meet Elise. A few months later, in Germany, Olga gives birth to Anita in prison. She is given a condition to raise the child inside as long as she can breastfeed. But as soon as the child no longer needs it, she will be sent to a German orphanage. Years passed, and Anita grew into a toddler, no longer needing breast milk. Guards come into her cell to take the child away. Olga tries to fight back but is beaten. Anita is then taken away as Olga cries out. In another room, Anita is brought to be taken by Prest's sister and mother. They sign documents and take the child. Before leaving, they try to give a letter to Olga, which the warden takes. But as soon as the ladies leave, she rips it. As days turn into months, Olga is transferred to Ravensbrück. There, she is stripped of all her old clothes and given her prison uniform. She is then led into her barracks with her fellow inmates. Years pass, and Olga continues to receive letters from Prest, keeping her updated on their daughter. Even though she's in prison, those letters give her courage. She also writes back to Prest, who sends it to his mother for her to read to Anita. After the incident, Olga meets with Elise again at Ravensbrück. The two work in the camps for slave labor and are treated harshly, helpless to do anything about it. One night, Olga wakes up by Elise panicking in her sleep. She is in shock, her body convulsing as the trauma worsens her condition. She soon dies in her sleep. Near the war's end, an increasing number of prisoners in their camp are taken away, never to be seen again. Olga suspects that they were executed and were not moved. That night, Olga writes her final letter to her daughter. She knows she is about to be killed, thus, she makes sure to write it. She then takes their pictures and hides them inside her clothes. Inevitably, Olga meets her tragic death as she stands in the gas chamber, staring out of the door's window, waiting to die. The others with her panic and cry as the gas fills the room, killing them slowly. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe my channel for more videos like this. See you in the next video.